Welcome to this Spirit Gathering teleconference. Today is October 20th, 2015, and my name is Deborah Noble Coburn. Our topic tonight is Celebrate Fall, a time for gathering and letting go. And we're so glad that you've joined us. We're recording this call tonight so that people who couldn't be here can listen in at a later time. If everyone could please press either your phone's mute button or *6 to mute your line so that we can keep the line and the recording quiet. And then *6 to unmute, of course. Tonight we're going to meet as a conversation council, and that means you can speak at any time and just take care to let the current speaker finish before you begin. The timekeeper for tonight is Diane, and she's going to remind us when we are approaching the time that we need to wrap up and do some closing announcements. So let's take a moment now to get settled, to center ourselves, to let go of the events of this day, and begin to enter the deeper, sacred space within ourselves. Now let us imagine that we're joining together, sacred heart to sacred heart, with every other person on this call right now. Now let us imagine that we are joining together in a circle with a light or a flame or a fire in the center. Imagining a spoke of light coming from the center of the circle to your heart, and for each person on the call tonight, or each person who will be listening in after. Now we are all connected, sacred heart to sacred heart. I'm just pausing a moment to strengthen those connections. And now we will set our intention. We listen to one another with compassion and curiosity. We ask for what we need and offer what we can. We deepen our connection with one another and the divine. May this sharing serve us, our communities, and the planet. And so it is. From the beginning of time, the flow of seasonal energies has inspired, united, and connected us in harmony and celebration. Each season offers themes, qualities, and lessons in empowerment. Tonight we'll learn and share traditions and nurturing celebrations for ourselves and for our friends who are on the call. And so, autumn, a season for gathering and letting go. That which is found within us in winter surfaces and comes forth in the bloom of spring, now to be nourished by the summer sun and bring the fruits of autumn. That's adopted from Staying Healthy with the Seasons by Elson Haas. I'd like to start by having everyone introduce themselves and tell the group one of the favorite things you like to do or a favorite memory from fall. And I will start. I remember growing up on our farm, and I remember that there was a lot of love and not a great deal of money. My mother was very creative, though, and she used to get very inventive around Halloween, and she would make our costumes out of old clothing. She would have the Rit dye going on the stove, and an old pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt became a squirrel because they got dyed tan or brown, and then the tail got attached to the belt and got made out of baler twine. And with all that work that she put in, we often it would be so cold in northern New York that we would put our Halloween costumes on and then put our winter coats on and then put our mittens and hats on. But it was great fun anyway, and that's one of the fond memories I have of autumn.
I'll go. This is Diane in Annandale, Virginia. When I think of fall, I immediately think of leaves on the ground. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and there's that smell of fallen leaves and earth and cold, and for some reason I get this image of, a gray day with snow spitting and wind kind of blowing the cold. And so it has that, for me, that feeling and smells of preparation. It's not so much preparing the earth per se, but the raking of the leaves and annual flowers that have died, and that kind of thing is sort of preparation somehow for the snows and the icing of the ground that will follow. That's very poignant, those smells and cleaning up of the garden and the lawn. And the other thing that comes to mind is the whole Thanksgiving tradition, and I think of it as a child. We lived 2 miles from my grandparents' house, and when I was pretty young, quite young, until maybe about 10 or something, we would go to my grandparents' house, and that was always just a real treat. And just that warmth of being inside and a fireplace roaring and, again, that really cold outside and warm inside. And so those are the 2 vignettes that come to mind. Thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Diane.
Hi, this is Nancy. I'm in New York, Westchester. And let's see, I have a bunch of feelings about the fall, and it's funny. I also, like Diane, I think of multicolored leaves and just how incredibly beautiful they are. And the smell of burning leaves is such an incredible memory of fall smell, and jumping in piles of leaves as a kid and then watching my kids do it. So there's that. And there is even a memory of, even though the summer was ending, that I actually would get excited about getting new notebooks and pens and loose leaves for school. So that I actually enjoyed every single year. And I was always pregnant in the fall with my kids. And even though I was always sick, nauseated from being pregnant in the fall for that part, it was still such a wonderful feeling of being pregnant. You know, I'll never forget that time. You know, the dark, it getting darker in the evening, and my belly getting bigger. So I remember that. And then also, like Diane, Thanksgiving is in the fall, and it seems to be all of our favorite holidays in our family. It's just one of those holidays where you just eat and are with each other, and there's not, you know, and you're just there giving thanks. It's not religious. It's not religious. And so it's just kind of a deep meaning type of holiday without a lot of ritual, but just kind of about love and gratitude. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Nancy.
Hi, this is Sally down in North Carolina. And fall for me, I grew up in Ohio, and like with Diane, it was cold and blustery, and the leaves turned colors and fell, and I just remember that I didn't really like the fall because it meant that it was going to be cold and dark and winter came next. And lo and behold, I moved down to North Carolina, and the fall here is just magnificent. It's, 30 degrees at night, and during the day it's gorgeous, sunny, and it was about 70 degrees, and just out in my yard and planting and gardening, and it's just a very different feel. So I'm really coming to love the fall in a way I never had earlier in life. And it's definitely a time of abundance here. There's lots of tailgate markets with fresh produce and things, and so cooking is fun, and restaurants are yummy. And also, like Nancy, I think of the fall as being a time of new beginnings, that with school starting, and I don't know, it just seems a lot of relationships and other significant things in my life have started either in the fall or the spring. It's interesting. Not that much has started in the winter for me, the summer. So it's definitely a time of, for me, new programs, sometimes new jobs, etc. Yeah. So that's my take on the fall.
Thank you, Sally.
my fall experiences is more of a letting go and a time to take stock with what is in your life and what no longer serves you. I also grew up in Ohio and don't have many good memories about the changing to cold weather back there. And having come just back from New Zealand in the last week or so, it's interesting that there I was planning for it to go into going into spring. So we were actually seeing the new lambs being born and the new buds coming out on everything, and then coming back here where I'm losing all those flowers and leaves and buds. So it's an interesting dichotomy of seeing the new beginning and then seeing the old, that which no longer serves us. Anyway, no really good memories of fall. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, what I would like to do is go into a little deeper into what I think of as fall, the time for gathering and the time for letting go. And everywhere around us we see examples in nature of letting go, the trees dropping their leaves, blooms on plants go through a period of decline, and then finally the entire plant goes dormant or dies, and activities that were so yang and active outside in the summer become more inwardly focused, and we spend more time inside. We look more inside ourselves at this time of the year. A little more darkness, cooler temperatures, so what I'd like to do on our next go-around is put in the group one thing that you would like to release, and you can say, a sentence or two about it to explain to the group if you'd like, or if it's something that you prefer to keep to yourself, you can just simply say, I am releasing into the center of the circle to have it be transmuted smoothly and easily and joyously. And then after sharing what you would like to release or let go of, create space for, then just as the squirrels gather nuts and the farmers gather their crops, we also gather to us and attract and manifest things in the fall, and put into the circle something that you would like to attract into your life. It could be a quality, it could be a specific, a job, a home, an activity, a partner, and then we will spend a bit of time as a group energizing what is in the circle, and so that's our next activity. Anyone ready to start with what they'd like to release and what they'd like to gather? I can start. I have been letting go of a relationship, and I would like to more fully let go of that relationship and let go of any pain, any hard feelings, any thoughts of anything other than gratitude for the experiences that I learned. I would like to let that relationship fully go. And what I would like to bring into my life is a brand new social life with with new people, new friends. I've moved to a different community. And so I would like a sense of lightness, a sense of fun, a sense of contributing to others and having others contribute to me, and just a lightness in my being. I'm complete.
I'll go next. The concept of letting go happens to be the same topic that I'm talking on Sunday about. So it's very meaningful that we have an opportunity to share that here. And as I've been preparing for my talk, knowing that I hate to let go of things, whether it be old clothes, whether it be, used tools in the garage, letting go is not a easy concept for most of us, because as a species, we often hold things to us because we didn't know what was the next opportunity. So in my own thought, in preparing myself and thinking about letting go and moving up the hierarchy of feelings, I think I have thoughts and doubts that I would certainly like to let go of, that even though I disclaim them for my higher self, often they keep sneaking in and really keep me from the full sense of gratitude and knowing the one spirit that surrounds us all and permeates all of our being. And it just keeps getting in the way. So I'd like to continue working in letting go of that concept of holding on to things that are just no longer needed. Thank you.
And is there something that you would like to attract into your life? Something you'd like to gather?
A deeper understanding of my faith.
Great.
This is Diane. What I would like to let go of is fear around being safe to be seen, and I would like to gather stepping co-creatively with the divine in every step that I take on earth. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Sally again. I really like to let go of the anger and resentments that I've held towards family members that they're like step family, and there was a lot of bad things that went down when both of my parents died, particularly my father. And a lot of things that I did not communicate because things were so hostile and legally volatile that I had to basically just turn my back on things and basically do the executive role. And we're coming up on the 6th anniversary of my father's passing this week. And I'm so tired of having just different things bring up thoughts and memories of these people and events. And I'd really like to just let them go and bury, as they say, bury the hatchet, bury whatever needs to be buried in this case. And as far as what I'd like to gather or attract into my life, I would really, really welcome a life partner, somebody who I can share my life with, my spirituality with, and just a wonderfully joyous, loving physical relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else to be put into the circle? And please know that if you want to put something into the circle at this point, you can certainly add it. And for those of you who are listening to this call after the fact, of course, there is a flexibility in time, so certainly that things may be added at a later time for us or for the people who are listening in at a later time. And so if everyone has their things that they would like to let go of and their things that they would like to gather to them in the circle, let's join energetically as a group again, connecting with Deborah? Yes.
Oh, this is Nancy.
Oh, good, Nancy.
Well, I think that for some reason we got disconnected because I said my thing, but it didn't sound like anyone heard it.
No one heard it. So if you would like to repeat that, we have time for that.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you just fine now.
Okay. I have to think about that for a minute. That's so weird. Okay. Well, I would, there are many things I'd like to let go of, but I think if I were to condense them to the basic, I would like to let go of all fear and all worry. In doing so, I would like to maintain a sense of peace and grace and well-being throughout all of the obstacles that I encounter in life, with me and my family and whatever. And to fearlessly move forward, even if I don't know exactly what those directions are yet. but to do that in total trust and faith, and confidence and spirit and my highest self. So that's it.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So let's energetically join once again into the circle, extending your hand and your heart to the person on your left, the person on your right, including all of those people who will be listening to the call at a future date. And I'm going to be running some flow, alignment, and connection energies for the next several minutes. If any of you are so inclined, you may also add energies. And just imagining that all of the things that no longer serve us, all of the things that no longer serve us are just dissolving peacefully and quietly and becoming transparent and moving into the universe to be able to become something that is of a higher vibration and is pertinent to our lives. So seeing all of those old energies transmuting and dissolving. And now watching energetically as we manifest for ourselves and for each other in this group what we would like to bring into our lives. Bringing these things forward in the most perfect time, perfect place, perfect condition. Manifesting patience and joy. Manifesting gratitude and ease and abundance. And manifesting perhaps something that has just occurred to you. Or perhaps it's a quality that you've been wanting more of in your life. Place it in the circle energetically. And know that this circle is something that will be continuing in time. And so if tomorrow morning you wake up and really, really, really want to put something in the circle, go ahead. And for all of us on the call and for all of us that will be joining at a later time, one thing that we can do for ourselves and for our friends, our spiritual brothers and sisters, is to send some energy into this circle on a regular basis, or whenever we're so inclined. And so for now, coming back just a little bit more into your individual body. Coming back a little more into the room where you're sitting. Wiggling your toes and your fingers and opening your eyes. And if there is anyone in the group that would like to share a thought or any comments, there certainly is time to do that, or if you're comfortable.
Hi, this is Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Well, something came to me during that the fall being a time of harvest, that I felt like it would be a good thing, and we don't have to do this out loud, but just to maybe individually think for ourselves, unless someone wants to share, that I think it would be a helpful thing for each of us to harvest what the good things are in our lives that we have created for ourselves, the seeds that we've sown in the last year, since the last fall, and to take a moment to appreciate that.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Somehow in that energy, I was saying somehow in the energy, it was clear that we were like thinking about what we don't want anymore, or what isn't useful, and what we want to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came up as the harvest, the missing piece of
what
we
we're
already
grateful
have.
for in the present. Great.
Yes, that we specifically have sown for ourselves. We kind of.
Anything you'd like to share publicly, or would you just like to spend a moment appreciating those things?
Well, I could. I can share, a general thing, which I probably will spend some time thinking of the specifics of it after the call or on my own. But I feel that I found last year very challenging in many ways, and the summer too. I had some health issues, but that on another level, that I considered it as a kind of personal retreat, and that a lot of what came up for me in that retreat seems to be taking hold, even if it isn't completely clear or completely manifested yet. I feel different, and I feel like it's moving in a different direction, which is good, and that there are levels, on every level physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, that there are this positive movement, whether slow or more rapid, but the things that have really shifted to some extent and just are in process of shifting. So that's what I would say.
Great, thank you. Well, I could share what I am so grateful for is the new home that I am sitting in now. It's just really beginning to come together and really feel like my home. And I am certainly very grateful for my new little doggie who keeps me company. I am so grateful to my friends who have supported me through a really rough patch in my life. Certainly Nancy and certainly Diane here on the call and others as well. But it's I'm so grateful to have that support. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm complete.
This is Diane. What arose for me in the flow energies was something about core wound, and I feel like the work that I've been doing for some time and in this last year, perhaps especially in what's really become pronounced, is something about my own core wound, and it seems like other people that I'm connecting with in various ways in doing energy work, it's hitting some core wounds. And I have such gratitude for that because it just feels like playing in that bedrock of what everything else sits on, i.e. the bedrock, it's odd to use the word sacred, but it feels like a sacred space because, that wound is so poignant and informs all of my life and other people's lives. And there's just such joy in exploring that area because of the liberation of held energy that happens in its own timing. But it just is such a place of profound depth and connection to interestingly, the core wound around the essence self, and that more of the essence self can emerge by playing in that space and area. And I just feel such gratitude to explore there and to heal. Thank you. I'm complete.
Hi, this is Sally, and what comes up for me is this has been a huge transitional year. I kind of took it as a personal year to recover from all of the stress I've been under. And it's been amazing to have my own house here and make it into my space and to take hold of the gardens and plant. And I've never been able to be out in the yard and things the way I have here. And, you know, it's just like being in a prayer. It's so nurturing for me. And I'm enjoying it so much. And, you know, I've heard for years about, you know, earth energy. And it never clicked for me the way it does now. And so there's been this physical transformation of the space I live in, but more immediately there's been kind of a physical transformation for me that I've been taking a lot of courses and applying all of these new therapies in my life, and I'm really, really pleased with the results, that I just have a level of energy, and I was having a head tremor and things, probably dystonia, and it seems to all be reversing. So I am very happy to acknowledge, and I hold enormous gratitude for where I am today on so many levels. So thank you for making this suggestion, Nancy.
Is there anyone else in the group that would like to comment on what we've discussed tonight, or what stays in your heart, your mind, as we prepare to wrap up?
Hi, it's Nancy. Deb, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was just checking after before.
Yes, that's a good thing.
I think that what stays with me is that I feel like I want to, on a regular basis, go through these 3 processes myself, you know, once a month or something, about what I'd like to let go of, what I'd like to manifest, and what I would like to appreciate that I have manifested, you know, appreciate. It feels very good. So I've gotten that. I think I will try to do that in my life more frequently.
Any other comments, or are we complete?
This is Diane. I'm feeling gratitude, and that's the space that I'm in. And I like your idea, Nancy, of doing this process in those 3 areas monthly. That feels like a nice cleansing, really, monthly cleansing. I'm complete. Thank you.
Okay, if everyone else is complete, I would like to thank you for joining us for the Spirit Gathering teleconference. The call may be archived as an MP3 at www.tzaddi.org. Phone access to the recording of this call is available until next month's call. For the playback of the recording, dial 712-432-1085. The access code is 990322#. We hope you'll join us for our next Spirit Gathering on November 17th. Star Wolf will be doing the program called Giving Thanks. These calls are hosted by Tzaddi, an interspiritual metaphysical organization founded in California in 1964. Tzaddi welcomes, nurtures, and supports people in celebrating and more directly experiencing their relationship with the loving presence of the divine. Our programs are open to people of any race, color, or national or ethnic origin. Visit www.tzaddi.org to learn more. We will now close with thanks and a blessing. Thanks to Tzaddi founders Amy Keyes and Dorothea Blackmare. Thanks to all of you who have been a part of our community tonight. And thanks to the divine who supports us always, even when we are not aware of it. And I'd like us all to share a moment of silence and gratitude. Basking in the energy that we've created tonight. I wish everyone a good night.
Thank you.